Have you ever wondered how scientists study such a huge variety of animals? From a tiny sponge to a giant whale, animals are incredibly different from one another. So how do we organize all this diversity? That's where animal classification comes in. Animal classification is the process of grouping animals on the basis of their similarities and differences. But these groups are not made randomly. Scientists look at different structural and developmental characteristics of animals and use them to classify them into different groups. For example, we can look at how an animal's body is organized, whether its body is symmetrical, how many germ layers it has, whether it has a body cavity, whether its body is segmented, and whether a notochord is present. Now let's understand these basic bases of animal classification one by one. First is the level of organization. It tells us how the body of an animal is organized, from simpler arrangements to more complex ones. For example, some animals have a cellular level of organization, while others have tissue, organ, or organ system levels of organization. Next is body symmetry. Symmetry means how the body can be divided into similar parts. Animals may show a symmetry, radial symmetry, or bilateral symmetry. For example, a sponge is generally asymmetrical, while humans show bilateral symmetry. The third basis is germ layers. During embryonic development, cells organize into layers that give rise to different tissues and organs. Animals can be diploblastic, having 2 germ layers, or triploblastic, having 3 germ layers. These layers are called ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Another important basis is the body cavity, also called the coelom. Based on the presence and nature of the body cavity, animals can be grouped as a coelomate, pseudocoelomate, or coelomate. We'll understand these terms in much more detail when we study the different animal groups. Next is segmentation. Segmentation means that the body is divided into a series of repeated segments. Earthworms are a familiar example of a segmented animal. And finally, we have the notochord. The presence or absence of a notochord is another important feature used in animal classification. Animals possessing a notochord at some stage of their development are grouped under chordata, while those without it are generally referred to as non-chordata. So these are some of the important characteristics used as the basis for animal classification. Level of organization, body symmetry, germ layers, body cavity, segmentation, and notochord. Let's quickly revise. What is animal classification? It is the grouping of animals based on their similarities and differences. And to classify animals, scientists study different characteristics of their body structure and development. This basic understanding will help us when we study the different groups of animals in more detail. This was Day 4 of Zoology from Basics. In our next video, we'll take one step further and learn about taxonomy and taxonomic hierarchy and understand how organisms are systematically arranged. Subscribe to Zoology Adda and join me as we learn zoology step by step from the very beginning. I'll see you in the next class. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring the animal world.